Welcome to step 1, mastering the basics. We are going to be going on an exciting journey together. I'm absolutely pumped up about this because I really feel that going through every single one of these videos step by step is going to have a dramatic effect on your AdSense earnings. Now, the first place to start, before we even go into all the details of where to put your ads and the best way to get more clicks, before we get onto that, we've got to start at the beginning. You may sometimes have seen people going off on orienteering expeditions or map reading expeditions, and you may have seen two teams. Quite often you'll see one team that will quickly look at the map and then they'll scurry off into the distance, running over the horizon, eager to get to the first target. But often that's the team that loses. It's the team that stay behind and plan carefully their strategy, plan their mode of attack that actually end up winning the game. And this is what you need to do. You need to get the basics right before we go on. There's no point just getting a site, slinging up a load of content, whacking on your AdSense ads and saying, that's it, I'm going to make my millions. We need to get this basics right because actually matching your site to the principles that Google has actually included in the AdSense program is going to make you more earnings. So what I'm going to go through in this first video will earn you more money. And it'll all become clear, it'll piece together like a large jigsaw as you go through the other videos. So I'm going to go through with you just now how you can get inside Google's head, how you can think like Google. I'm going to also give you principles on which AdSense is founded. If you can master these principles and you can step inside the mind of Google and think like Google, you'll be rewarded. I'm also going to outline the 4 cornerstones of AdSense success. Believe it or not, you can boil down the entire idea of AdSense and how to get more revenue from it into just 4 simple cornerstones. I'm going to go through each of those. So first off, let's step inside the mind of Google. Remember, the reason we're doing this is if you understand entirely what Google is trying to achieve and what they're trying to achieve with AdSense, you can then match that in parallel. So let's just rewind and think about this for a minute. You are trying to please Google. The more you can please Google, the more you can do for them, the more they will reward you. And that's what this is all about. So Google's ethos, let's just flick onto their homepage. Google is a multi-billion-dollar company, but they've got a very simple ethos, or a very simple philosophy. And that is, they want to organize the world's information, make it accessible to everyone, and make it useful. It's a very simple statement, but if you also seize upon this statement and build your site around the same principles, you will be rewarded. Now, it's okay saying, yep, I'm going to do that, I'm going to organize my site, make it useful and accessible. But you need to do this in certain ways, and I'll go through this in subsequent videos. But you need to have content organized. You need to organize your site in a certain way, have a certain layout so it's easy to find information for visitors and for search engines. You need to have information that's useful and relevant, so we'll talk about how you actually get the right keywords to bring in yet relevant information. You also need to make it accessible to everybody so that people can find exactly what they're looking for on your site using certain navigation techniques, so we'll look at that as well. Alongside these 3 things, having organized content, being useful and being accessible, Google also have this statement that they call themselves, they basically label themselves that they don't want to be evil. Don't be evil. Those 3 words echo around Google Towers because they believe that is at the core of their business model. And that's what you need to have core of your model with AdSense. That's why all the stuff that I go through in this course, none of it is underhand. None of it is against the terms and conditions, and obviously none of it is illegal and going to put you in prison. So what I'm saying is, don't be tempted just to try a little thing here and there that might possibly be against the terms and conditions. You should always run changes that might be borderline. You should always run them by Google. So, stepping inside the mind of Google. Now you might think this is basic stuff, but as I say, if you just run off and start building your sites and you don't think about these basic concepts, you'll be heading off in a totally wrong direction. Let's move on. What then are the 4 cornerstones to achieving success with AdSense. Just go through them. If this is your site, this is a page on your site, there are 4 cornerstones. I say 4 things. If you get this right, you're going to explode your AdSense revenue. Number 1, on your page is the content. The content on your page. This is cornerstone number 1. And we're going to go through in all the videos where you get content, the best places to get it from, free content, paid content, unique content, how to write content yourself, how to get other people to write content. We can go through all those things. So that's cornerstone number 1. Cornerstone number 2 is the keywords. If this is your page and you've got all these sentences on here, there are certain words that you'll be using on the page, and they pull in certain ads. We're going to look at why that's important and the whole issue of keywords. That's cornerstone number 2. Cornerstone number 3 is the actual ads themselves, so your AdSense ads. In terms not just of where they are on the page, but also their format, their size, the colour, borders, etc. That's cornerstone number 3. And I'm going to go on to this in massive detail later on in terms of how you can actually get the right ad format, what the best ad format is. And I'll show you that step by step. And the 4th cornerstone to all this is traffic. Getting people in to your site. And that's why we spend time in later videos talking about the best ways to get people into your site. Now these 4 cornerstones together form the model for success with AdSense. You can get a high level of success just focusing on one of the 4. But just imagine if you knew the best things and the best and most efficient ways of getting content, getting the right keywords, getting the best ads and the highest click-through rates, and getting the most amount of traffic. If you know the best ways to do each of those 4, it's going to have a massive effect on your AdSense earnings, and that's what this course is all about. If you make a positive change to each of these 4 cornerstones every single day, it has a multiplying effect. If you get a little bit more content, you develop a few more keywords each day, you try ads, you run a test and get better ads each day, and you get a little bit more traffic each day, it has a multiplying effect on your AdSense earnings. So, these are the 4 cornerstones of success with AdSense. Just to recap quickly, Google's principles are built on organizing content and making it useful and accessible to everybody. If you mirror this with your own site and your own pages, they will reward you. Their second motto is don't be evil. You need to emulate this. Do whatever you can in your power not to step over the line. And finally, I spoke to you about these 4 cornerstones to AdSense success. Content, keywords, the ads themselves, and traffic. Okay, that's it for the first video. It's important that you grasp these concepts and build your site and content around them.